Mike, I had my popcorn ready. I was all prepared for the big game, Butler, UConn. This looks like a great matchup.
Sure.
Up-and-coming UConn, really a younger team except for Walker, and the Butler being a veteran team, their second straight year here. I thought this is going to be a pretty good game. First half, yeah, okay, sloppy, but at least competitive. What happened in the second half? I went to bed before it was over.
Well, I actually thought the first half was worse than the second. I mean, this was awful, and a lot of times. The final game, I was thinking about this, and I wrote something about it on the blog yesterday.
What's the blog?
That would be Billy Pault's Reconsidered. Thank you,
promotion.
Starkey. There you go. The championship game is not. I love the NCAA basketball tournament. I think it's the best annual event in American sports. But the championship game often, to me, is not my favorite part of it. I think the players are almost too hyped up. The broadcast is overproduced. I think it starts at 9:30 at night.
That's
Come
ridiculous.
on, why?
Yeah.
And it's always in these. It's often in an arena that is not really a basketball venue.
Right.
This thing where the floor is above the benches. I mean, that's not a big deal, but why? So there's been a lot of this over the years, and a lot of times what you'll see is. Kids are really hyped up at the beginning. They're trying to go too fast. They're excited. And particularly a team like Butler, which gets its ego and its self-image from kind of toughness and defense and effort and energy. But 5, 6, 7 minutes in, everybody kind of gets their feet underneath them and settles down, and it's a basketball game. Butler never did. They just never did. And I mean, it wasn't just shots weren't falling. I mean, they were fracturing backboards with some of the bricks they were firing up there. It was awful, and it was a bad way for this season to end in sports. In this sport where we talked about parity and we talked about all of these, unheralded teams, and it certainly looked last night as if all the unheralded teams did well because there weren't any great teams.
Well, that's a good point. I believe it was 12 for 64, and that seems horrible. They only had 2 baskets, Butler, that weren't three-pointers.
Yeah, I know. That's incredible.
Think
about
incredible.
That. Think about that. They had to. I mean, it just. And yes, part of it was defense. I mean, both teams are very good defensively, and when you're trying to go too fast, it's easy to say, "Well, slow down." Well, it's hard to slow down when you're being guarded like that. I mean, so I'll give you that, but that is nowhere near a complete explanation of what happened last night. It was a bad basketball game.
In this age of one and done, it was. I'll give Butler credit for getting back there again. I say one and done. These really good teams with all these great athletes usually only stay 1 year. You're like, will UConn be back? I don't know. Walker's probably going pro. It's one of these deals where these good players don't stick around anymore. When was the last time we had a back-to-back NCAA Final Four team? It's been a while. Butler, I mean, did Duke do it recently? Maybe.
Yeah, it hasn't
before
happened
that,
often.
It's been a while.
Right.
You think about it, in the 80s, Georgetown, you had the Carolinas would be there all the time. Houston had their run. Louisville in the early 80s. 90s was Duke. Carolina's being consistent.
Yeah.
But we don't seem to. Butler's, that's rare.
Yeah, it is rare, and I think it's going to continue to be rare. I don't think that's a trend or anything like that. I think what Butler has done is kind of special, but what they did last night was special in a bad way.